Introducing my Johnson. 1 second. Those hooks are looking pretty clean for a 70-something-year-old lure again. Weedo, my Johnson Weedo. Brand new, got it off of eBay. Just kidding, that's not brand new, is it? I paid $27 for this chipped up little Johnson Weedo. This is the only one I could find. Still functional. Oh my goodness, the hooks are a little sharp. Those are functional hooks even. Excuse me, I'm scoping this thing over. This is the first time I've seen it too. 1 second, fellas. Let me admire my Johnson Weedo. It feels like it's weighted correctly. The belly's heavier. I'm poking it with my fingernail. I'm trying to see if that wood is even sealed. It dents very easy. It looks like it's not sealed with anything, which is not preferable. That'll cause some issues. But it's made out of a cedar, which is naturally water resistant. You can see that it's cedar wood just by the way it is. So maybe it's fine. That's a strange lip orientation and size and shape. A little bit of cutting into the water down there. Not a big lure, thank goodness. You see the hole? There's a screw in there. Flathead screw. That's what I think just keeps everything nice and aligned. The spring up front is what opens things up. A little bit of threadage poking out of the bottom of that screw. Are you guys able to see? There's a flathead screw right there. And up in there, I think it's holding the hooks to the wood, those screws. I just came across this. For some reason on that one, the lip is backwards. It's not the same as mine. Maybe they were sold to where you flip that around, because the screws are very exposed and you would be able to do that easy. And it'll actually be a topwater skipping thing. Interesting Johnson Weedo facts. What is all the information you can find about the Johnson Weedo fishing lure made in 1947?
This fishing lure was introduced in 1947. It was designed to help anglers fish in weedy areas without getting snagged. The lure had a spring-loaded hook that reduced the chances of getting caught on underwater plants, making it a favorite among fishermen who needed a reliable lure in challenging conditions.
I'm sure it's a lure that's known by people who collect antique fishing lures, but there's not a lot on it out there, and I thought it was interesting as heck. Do you think it will work? Yes or no? Before you see it, say it. Yes or no? Is it gonna work? Here we go. Floats. Let's hope all the paint doesn't just shed off as soon as I pull on it. What the heck even is that? What am I supposed to do with that? Huh. You know, given that it has a lip, I was expecting it to crank. And when I asked you if you thought it was gonna work, that's what I was thinking. Do you think it'll crank? It'll have an action. So, if you commented no, you win. It doesn't work. Maybe that's why the Johnson Weedo is not very well known. So, it does not crank? I'm assuming that that picture that I saw of the lip backwards is it in its true form, right? That's gotta be. Not exactly a Mega Bass Vision 110, but it does do a little bit of shenanigans on the twitch. Bit of a redeeming quality. The hook's crabbed. If I could get a fish to bite back here, I feel like it would hook up on the fish. Let's flip that lip around. Well, those were loose. These screws look like they're bronze or something. Right, I was able to align the screws similarly. Looks good. All right, if doing that does nothing as well and it just comes in straight, I don't know what to tell you, fellas. The Johnson Weedo will have just let us down in the action department. Yeah. Typical. Dang, dude. Well, I prefer it diving into the water a little bit compared to not. This lure relies solely on its impeccable aesthetics to attract the fish. As I work on it, wood chips and stuff are falling off onto my hand. It looks like the wood is soaking up water. It feels a little heavier. I'm not trying to rip into the Johnson Weedo. I'm just shooting you straight. That's what it is, in case there's any Johnson Weedo fanboys. Let's give it the best chance possible. We will go to Private Pond, where bass hit things that move. Let the Johnson work its magic. The temptation to put a clear coat on this of some sort is really high, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna fish it. 0.69 ounce bait. The Johnson Weedo is 0.69 ounces and 3 inches. I couldn't think of more fitting measurements for such a bait. Let's go see if some dumb pond bass want it. I think a day like this, at a place like this, gives the Johnson Weedo the best chance it could possibly receive. We got a consistent slight zephyr wind, overcast conditions, 50 degrees. What is this, April 4th, 2025? Let's make an old bait official. Casts like a torpedo. We'll see if it gets any weedos on it. Maybe it should have been called the Johnson Snaggo, because I bet it's gonna get weeds on it. Oh, what's that? We got some weeds. That was a hit. As soon as it touched the water, we had a hit. Did not hook up. It dives down way further than I expected. It gets down to like 4 feet pretty quick. The Johnson Weedo's going in the pipe. Here we go. Come on. Oh, that was a hit. That was a hit. Top water hit right there. Oh, that was a hit too. That was a fish. We're not getting hookups. Has anyone ever caught a fish on a Johnson Weedo? Let me know. This is looking pretty grim. Oh my goodness, that was a bite. I'm not getting the hooks into the fish. I'm just curious, if I put on a different bait real quick, let's see if the Johnson Weedo is just bad. I mean, when you see the action alone, it just is bad. No disputing that. Fish on the slick swim. That didn't take too long. It's just that dang Johnson. Ooh, that's a big crappie. That's my biggest crappie so far this year. On a 3-inch slick swim. That's pretty official. Be free. That was on 50-pound braid, bait caster setup, no leader. So I wasn't certain if I was gonna completely make a new one or just restore this one. I'm thinking it'll be best just to restore this one. All the hardware is nice and hardy still. Let's take advantage of that. First we need to dry that off and put it in the oven. I'm gonna take off the lip before I do that. I want those pilot holes dry and the big screw in there. That's coming out. Wow, that was too easy. That really opens up quite a bit. Can I take the other ones out? Let's scrape at these little flatheads down here, get the paint out of there so I can maybe take the hooks off even. You see that white spot? I don't know what that is because it's not on the other side. What did they do? Is that just paint? That's just a weird splotch of white paint for no reason. Okay, let's get those hooks off. Old lures, man. Came right out of there. Yeah, I definitely need to reuse these. I was getting the feeling that this cedar is too heavy when it comes to a wood to use as well. So maybe we're not gonna put this in the oven and reuse it. Maybe we will make a new one out of Tupelo, a lighter wood than cedar. It's about half as dense. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, cause that's not good. Yeah, ooh, that's not good. That's not even bent over. That was just a straight piece of wire. Glued? Who knows? Was that even glued? Before I rip on that too hard and actually break the wire, I think I am gonna put this in the oven. Never mind. Man, I just really wanted to put this thing in the oven. See, that one was bent over. Why wasn't that one? But to be honest, if I could just pull on that with my hands and rip it out of there, that was not secure enough. That is what the hook was connected to. If I accidentally catch a freshwater tuna, that would have ripped off. An antique lure destroyer. I mean, this one was pretty much already. Can't feel too bad about that. I'm just using the original as the template. On both sides of the original, the hook placement was offset to the left. I'll have to do that for both of these. That way the hooks don't run into each other, but they kind of slide against each other. Am I missing something? Why is that hole right there? What was that doing? Because that hole, you know, this one, was accepting the screw that was sliding up and down. What was this one? Was that making it so there's less buoyant material on the bottom one? And like water was getting in there so it would sit upright? Is that kind of like the weight hole? I completely missed that while I was taking it apart. I didn't, maybe there used to be a little weight in there and it fell out. Smelling it didn't provide any evidence of that, but that's what I'm thinking. So I could do that. I could drill in from that side and drop a little tungsten ball down there and give it a better chance to work, because it wasn't working. The diameter of that eye is 7/32 of an inch. On the old thing, this really looks like it was scraped at by a fella. That looks hand done as heck. There's probably a dude sitting somewhere just doing that to a bunch of Johnson Weedos. Probably a single income earner for an entire family, living well. Carving out Johnson Weedo hook slots. That's the life right there. That or he wasn't, and his wife wanted him to stop and find a real job, you know? Either way, good for him. Dedication. In reality, it was like a 10-year-old child labor. Nothing like some good old socioeconomic jokes while making lures. So this hole on the Johnson Weedo is 9/64 of an inch, but I'm gonna use 1/8, and it goes all the way through. Let's use the drill press. But 1/8 will give it a lower tolerance and possibly, I don't know, I don't want to say make it work better, but make it feel better. That still slides through with no resistance. So I have to come in from the other end and drill a bigger hole, not all the way through though. Probably just one of these tungsten balls. That's gonna go right there except half an inch down. Like that. Okay, got a top cut out, some symmetry to it. Carve it, seal it, paint it, add all the hardware. We're done. Let's get through this. Johnson Weedo. I've probably said that 100 times by now in this video. Just gonna throw it in at irrelevant times as well. Super glue sealing. That'll be just fine. We're gonna start with white. I think I'm gonna go for bluegill, some sort of sunfish. Just a little bit of scales. Keeping it super simple. I'm gonna put an ear somewhere around the eye, and it's pretty much done. I think I needed to put those hooks on before I do some clear coating. I want the clear coat to kind of seep in there, hold that stuff in. Time to clear coat. We did it. It feels the same as the old one. I mean, that makes sense. We used the same spring, same amount of space, and, you know, same potential to catch a fish. I guess that's all I'm trying to say, which probably isn't that high. All right, I'm just gonna screw this lip on real quick. We're using a different one, much better shape, a lot less wide. That's better. At least aesthetically, that's way better. We got 2 coats of UV resin, clear coat on that thing. Looks kind of like a bluegill. I hope it cranks kind of like a crankbait. It floats. This isn't easy to get working correctly. I have options. I can put the line tie off of the lip. Let's try that first. If that solves it instantly, I'm gonna be a happy bait maker. Oh, that fixed it. It's just a lot. I don't know what to say about it. It's hard to get that shape to work correctly. Do I have a different lip? I don't have a bigger lip, but I do have a drill. I glued in some tungsten just to aid in this bait's stability. That's what it seemed like it needed the most. Heavy floater. Now we're good. That's pretty good. I can see why they had trouble making it work. It really does not want to wobble whenever the body's split like that. But we got it going. probably as good as we're gonna get it. I'm just gonna wake up tomorrow and go fish this thing, probably at the ditch, and hope for an ambitious pike. Looks like it's too chilly for the old fellas. It's a Saturday, nobody's here at the ditch. The older you get, the more thermally conductive you get. Yes, I have a hand warmer, mostly for my aluminum fishing reel. My left hand, it starts getting bad after an hour of fishing with that thing when it's this cold out. All right, pliers, my new Johnson Weedo, and a net. That's where the water comes into the ditch, and it's just starting to spill over. Last time I was here, it wasn't doing that. It's a little up. Time for my Johnson Weedo. Oh. Thought I had one right there. Ooh! That was definitely a fish. Another one, topwater, just saw it. They're not getting hooked up. They're not putting it in their mouth. It needs to get engulfed in order for a fish to get hooked up, you know? We need full engulfment. That was one. They're back here. Oh, that was one. This is frustrating. This is like 3 hits back here. Come on, Johnson Weedo. That was one. I'm not getting any fish. The Johnson Weedo is a frustrating bait. Ooh. That was a hit too. Man, so many hits with this bait. I'm gonna go for some largemouths. Hopefully that helps the issue. I just need a big bass, that's all. Yeah, that was a hit too. Oh, that was a hit. I'm seeing the fish, man. I'm watching the fish hit. That was second cast, 4 hits later. That wasn't a small bass either. Oh, come on. Mega frustration. Ooh. Ooh. Still getting used to this new reel, fellas. Worst lure I've ever reviewed, the Johnson Weedo. 4 straight hours of fishing, getting bites, getting those crankbait taps. You can see like little bass tooth scratches around the head. I witnessed the head get chomped on in a bass's mouth. Unbeatable levels of frustration, this lure right here. Because yeah, if a bass comes up and just hits the head, you pull on the line, there was never a chance. The head will pop out of the bass's mouth. The hooks will do that. Gone forever. Here's your chance. Nope. Oh, here's another chance. Nope. That was my whole day today. Never trust a Johnson Weedo, but we'll probably break it back out. At some point in the spring when they're hitting super hard and topwater's on, they don't care what they're hitting, and they don't look at the part of the fish that, you know, should I hit their head? They don't care. We'll probably get one then. If I had any other crankbait tied on, any standard kind of thing, I would have caught quite a few fish today. That's official. Now we all know why. The Johnson Weedo's not made anymore. Thanks for watching. On to the next bait. What the heck even is that? My Johnson. Interesting Johnson. Little Johnson. Dang, dude.